activities in public schools when learners resume for their third term. Now, the Teachers Service Commission, that is TSC, is set to hold meetings with NAT and KUPPET officials beginning today in order to ward off a crisis in this term when national examinations are administered. And though the grievances between NAT and KUPPET may differ, the issue of delocalization stands out as the main sticking point. So will the crisis meeting be successful? This is our center of focus on News Centre this morning, and I have two gentlemen in our studio here and in a studio in Kisumu County. So I'll start with the gentleman in a studio here in Nairobi. That is Zablon Awange. He's an education Andiwo Obondo, is an education policy analyst, and he's joining us right here on News Centre in a Nairobi studio, where he's seated actually next to me. And in our Kisumu studio, as you can see on your screen, is Zablon Awange, who is the executive secretary of the Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers, that is Kisumu County. So these two gentlemen this morning will be engaging us on our topic, that is the crisis that is facing the education sector. There is a looming strike that is expected to kick off on the 1st of September, and TSC has decided to hold a crisis meeting with the union officials. And on a Super Bowl this morning, I'd like us to look at some of the grievances that these two teachers' unions have. But first, just to make it clear, it is that NAT and TSC have two common demands. That is, the delocalization of teachers needs to stop, and also they're saying that promotion of teachers needs to begin. But let's first start with the demands of the Kenya National Union of Teachers, that is NAT. And the first demand is that the delocalization of teachers needs to stop, because they are saying that owing to the fact that several schools had experienced unrest, NAT claims that out of 70 schools that were affected by fires, 58 of them had new principals, and they're saying this is due to the delocalization of teachers. And as you can remember, recently, President Uhuru Kenyatta asked the Teachers Service Commission to review the decision of the delocalization policy, saying that so many teachers families of these head teachers were going to be affected. Now, the second demand by NAT, it is the performance appraisal policy. Remember that TSC had brought up the issue of the performance appraisal policy, which NAT says that no, this cannot happen. Teachers do not need the performance appraisal policy. The other issue that NAT once addressed is the promotion of teachers. Now, according to NAT, it is that several teachers have not been promoted despite having attained higher academic qualification. So they want teachers to be promoted, teachers who have actually had academic teachers who have actually have had academic have actually improved on their academics. And the other demand, it is that the reinstatement of scheme of service. So those are four demands that NAT wants TSC to address when they are holding their meeting today with the Teacher Service Commission. Now, let's have a look at some of the demands by the Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers. Now, the first one is delocalization of teachers, the same grievance that NAT has. They want that delocalization to come to an end. The other demand is that the promotion of teachers to be discussed. It is the same grievance that NAT has. And also, the most interesting thing is KUPPET wants a new CBA talks to start. So they say that this year, the Teacher Service Commission needs to have a talk of starting a new collective bargaining agreement with NAT. Then the last one, of course, it is the other demand, it is the renegotiate housing allowance to make it uniform across all municipalities which are currently county headquarters. All right, now those are just some of the demands that you've seen on a Super Bowl, demands of NAT and demands of KUPPET. But to begin our conversation this morning, I'd like us to begin with Zablon Awange, who is the executive secretary of KUPPET Kisumu County. And as I've told you earlier, he's joining us from our Kisumu studio. Zablon, good morning, and thank you so much for joining us here on News Centre. First thing first, the meeting is supposed to happen. Is KUPPET ready for this meeting?
We are very much ready for the meeting with the TSC.
Okay,
we are ready for that meeting because we are the ones who had called for dialogue. We had said that we were giving TSC a chance to dialogue so that we can iron out these issues and the grievances that are affecting teachers countrywide. Before we take issues to do with industrialization, we believe that if we do not come to an amicable solution, then industrial action is the way to go.
Zablon,
we are ready for the...
You are saying that you're ready for this. Industrial action is the way to go. But just to ask you, before you go for before the meetings begins, because the meeting is supposed to begin today and tomorrow, the Teacher Service Commission yesterday, that is on Wednesday, decided to have a meeting first with the Kenya Secondary Schools Heads Association. What do you have to say about that? Are you opposed to that meeting? Because it appears that TSC wants to have a meeting concerning union issues with the Heads Association first before starting a meeting with the unions.
We are reading some mischief, though it is in order for the government and the TSC to meet the Kenya Secondary School Heads Association. Otherwise, the issues are pertaining to labor deals with the union, which is dealing with the issues of the union. So, issues to do with the union, Kenya Secondary School Heads Association cannot talk about. We, the Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers, the Kenya National Union of Teachers, KNUT, we are the people who have been mandated by the Constitution to talk about issues affecting the CBA, issues affecting the delocalization, issues affecting the whole labor setup in this country. So we are not saying that TSC should not meet the Kenya Secondary School Association, but we are warning them that they should not water down our grievances. Let them not make deals with the Kenya Secondary School Association in order to water down our grievances as a union. Because our grievances are valid, we are representing thousands and thousands of teachers in this country who have got genuine grievances.
Okay, Zablon, so are union officials worried that the meeting between TSC and the head teachers union that happened yesterday might water down some of the grievances that you have?
We are not worried as such, but we are warning the Kenya Secondary School Heads Association that it is them who are heavily affected by the delocalization, which Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers and Kenya National Union of Teachers have been against. The Kenya Secondary School Heads Association and KEPSHA, the Kenya Primary Heads Association, were the first people to say that they don't have a problem with the delocalization. But now we have seen the problems that delocalization have brought. We saw the massive fires in schools, the massive unrest in schools in second term. We saw the massive confusion in the education sector. One of the reasons that even the Cabinet Secretary Amina Mohamed agreed was the issue of delocalization. And as much as TSC was burying its heads in the sand, it took the intervention of the President, His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta, to say that the issue of delocalization should be looked at afresh. We should be renewing this policy of the delocalization because it is acknowledged that it is one of the issues that has affected the education sector. So we should not have meetings with the Kenya Secondary Association that is going to water down some of the grievances. We want a situation which is amicable. We want a situation whereby we can come down and put things on the table, and it's a give and take issue, so that we can avert the industrial strike. Remember, KUPPET was initially against the strike because we wanted to give dialogue a chance. We said we can give dialogue a chance, and that is what is happening now. Dialogue is on the table. We are talking. But if nothing comes out, we are not ruling out industrial action by the time the exam starts. We must go to the KCSE and KCP knowing that the issues we are talking about, that is TPAD and appraisal, the issues of delocalization, the issues of promotion, the issues of harmonized house allowance, all these issues must be looked at afresh. Even the CBA, we are aware as a union that the CBA did not favor the ordinary teachers. That is why KUPPET, we want the renegotiation of the CBA to start now. We should not wait until the end of the CBA, this current CBA, in order to start talking about the next CBA. Our teachers are aggrieved. There is demoralization. The CBA favored more the principals and the deputies. The ordinary teacher on the ground did not get anything. That is one of the causes of the confusion in the education sector. So we are saying, as much as the TSC has a right to meet the Kenya Secondary School Service Association, they must come with solutions that are in tandem with what the Kenya Union of Post-Primary and the Kenya National Union of Teachers are going to agree on. You can see that our grievances and the grievances of NAT are basically the same. Though the meeting with the TSC is different, you will see that the grievances are basically the same because they are representing the grievances of the ordinary teacher on the ground. We are not going to condone issues that whenever we bring these things on the ground, the Kenya Secondary School Association comes to water it down. And when they are aggrieved, they come back to us. You saw what happened in Mombasa. When Kenya KEPSHA chairman Shem Dolo tried to say what? That there is not going to be any strike. These fellow heads are the ones who said that there is going to be a strike unless and until the TSC meets some of the demands. And it is these demands that we are currently talking with the TSC. We want these issues ironed out once and for all, because we do not want the president to come again and intervene. There are people who have been mandated in the TSC to deal with issues that are pertaining to teaching in this profession. If they are always leaving the president to intervene, then they are abdicating their responsibilities. If they are always leaving the president to point out that this is wrong, then again they are abdicating their responsibilities. We believe that the issue of delocalization brought chaos in second term, and if it is not addressed now, it is going to bring serious chaos in third term, which is an exam period. We do not want to paralyze examination. We do not want to paralyze learning in education, because the TSC top echelon are not ready to listen to the demands of the teachers.
Okay, all right. Zablon Awange, the executive director of Kupet, Kisumu County, just giving us an insight of what's happening between the TSC and the Teachers Union. But just before we continue this conversation, allow me to take a short breather. But when we come back, we shall also be engaging Andiwo Obondo, who's an education policy analyst on this, and also just have a look at what